Hey everyone, and on today's episode we're going to be discussing ways that can just, while we're waiting for Bond 26, activities and ideas that can keep the Bond spirit alive and keep us tied over until finally they release Bond 26. And that's happening right now. So I think it's fair to say we've still got a bit of time before they release Bond 26, and like you, I am very much like counting down the days, hoping it will be released in 2025 like they potentially have said, wondering who's in it, what's the story going to be, who's directing, every little scrap, little piece of news I'm just digging up and thinking, ooh, about the possibilities. But the fact of the matter is, it's 2023 at the time of this recording. We've probably got at least 2 years until they release the next Bond film, if we're lucky. And if you're like me already, you kind of just think, what can I do just to keep the spirit alive? What fun activities could I do to keep going? What things could I do as a Bond fan to keep myself immersed in the Bond community and do things and just have fun really with James Bond? And that's what I really want to talk about today. I'm going to list a couple of ideas I would recommend doing if you are a Bond fan in between Bond films that you could do to keep up that Bond spirit high, morale high, and build up, if you will, anticipation for the next film. But before we get into that, everyone, can I ask you, haven't already, do give us a like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,500 subscribers for the end of the year, so if you can help us, that would be absolutely amazing. So without further ado, let's get into my first idea. So my first idea, it's not very original, but it is just to rewatch the Bond films. Now, when I say that, I would like to pose a challenge for you all. It's easy to say, well, why don't you watch all the Brosnan films, or the Connery films, or the Moore films, or the Dalton, etc. Or why not start watching them right at the beginning from Dr. No to No Time to Die? I think that's honestly had its day, I'm afraid. And I think what's more interesting, what I like to do, I like to come up with random films to make a bit of a 3-part or 4-part movie marathon, a bit of difference in it. So to give more clarity to what I mean, here are a couple of ideas that I do when I decide to rewatch a couple of Bond films. I first off decide maybe I might watch my top 10 favourite Bond films. I might decide I might watch the top 10 worst Bond films in my opinion. Or sometimes I'll come up with a playthrough of certain films I like to call the over-the-top ones. You know what I mean. It's Die Another Day, The Moonrakers, The Spy Who Loved Me, You Only Live Twice. The ones that are really over-the-top and really bombastic, those sort of films. I might even go down on the opposite side of that, the more dark and dangerous film watch route. I might watch like From Russia with Love and Live and Let Die, License to Kill, Casino Royale and GoldenEye. I might go nostalgic and watch a lot of Brosnan films mixed with like Goldfinger and like rewatch the ones that first truly introduced me to the world of James Bond. And also following on from that, I might also decide to do the Tracy saga. So for those who don't know the Tracy saga, for me, it is obviously on America's Secret Service with Tracy, and then every time it was mentioned, Bond was married after that, such as The Spy Who Loved Me, For Your Eyes Only, and of course, License to Kill. I think there's many different, if you will, movie marathons and collection of Bond films that you could watch in a row, or say something like that. So I'd like to challenge you all to come up with your own little collection of 3 or 4 Bond movies that have maybe a theme like the more fantastical or the polar opposites of each other, and just enjoy watching those one after the other. And just to leave it end on, watching Die Another Day to Casino Royale, that's a really interesting tonal shift one as well. The second idea I have is a bit more obvious again, but why not read more of the novels? You haven't just got the Ian Fleming novels, you've got the continuation novels, you've got the Young Bond novels, you've got the new Anthony Horowitz novels. There are tons of James Bond books coming out on a yearly basis, and there's plenty of a back history to get through. Heck, even try and look at some of the manga, some of the graphic novels. There's tons of book James Bond content to keep us occupied and entertained. Example being, I'm reading something right now which is James Bond Agent of Spectre, which is really good. I also find that Fleming's writing provides a different experience compared to the movies and offers additional depth to the Bond character. It is almost like it's a different incarnation of James Bond in the book, so go and enjoy that version of the character as well. My next idea could be a bit expensive to some, but it's something I really truly recommend. If you can get access to like to an old PlayStation, Xbox or GameCube, a PS3 or an Xbox 360, do yourself a massive thing here and go and replay the old James Bond games. We've just had the re-release of GoldenEye's N64 on the Switch. You go play that. You know, you can try and play Agent Under Fire, Everything or Nothing, For Rush of Love, GoldenEye Rogue Agent and Nightfire. You can play those again. You can play Quantum of Solace and Bloodstone, GoldenEye Reloaded. There are tons of great Bond games to play if you want as well. Next to this recording, as you see, I've got an old PlayStation 2 and a screen, and sometimes just when I'm like thinking about or wanting a little break, I'll just go on and play a bit of Nightfire, Agent Under Fire, From Rush of Love, Everything or Nothing. It's great to really dive in to that other side of the James Bond legacy, which is the video game side. So do yourself a favour, in my opinion. If you've never played them before, play these video games, and if you've haven't played them in a while, play them again. Here's another idea which I think is a bit overlooked. Why not, in your times, in your commute to work or going somewhere, whatever, why don't you download and buy some of the James Bond soundtracks and listen to them on the go? I absolutely love some mornings where I will put on a James Bond soundtrack from a random movie and just while I'm driving and paying very close attention to the road, just focus on the music a bit as well and just imagine the film, where they are at and where this music plays in the film, and just enjoy the incredible music by John Barry and David Arnold and Thomas Newman. Such great music. And I have to say, one of the things I do love recently is actually listening to Hans Zimmer's No Time to Die soundtrack while driving. That is a really, really lovely piece. So why not re-explore and reintroduce yourself to the James Bond soundtracks in this time? So one of the most important things I think you could do is actually very much more connect or reconnect with all the James Bond communities. I love the fact there's so many great Facebook groups out there, such many great people on Twitter in the Bond community, on YouTube, on Instagram, and just reach out to them and start conversations and talking to them. We're all Bond fans. No one out there is not going to want to speak to you. One of the great gifts that this whole channel has actually given me is I've got to meet and talk with so many other Bond fans around the world. And it's just a gift that keeps on giving. So heck, I always love chatting to Bond fans, so yeah, why not? So my next idea might not be something for everyone, because not everyone likes to travel, but if you've got the money and you've got a potential holiday coming up, why not try and go visit some Bond destinations? I don't know about you, but I see like David Zaritsky on the Bond Experience going to Jamaica, going to Goldeneye and the Crocodile Farm from Live and Let Die. I am so jealous, it is unreal. So yeah, why not take this time if you can, save up for a holiday, go to Jamaica, go to Goldeneye, the Crocodile Farm, the areas where they shot Dr. No. What a great Bond Mecca moment. So yeah, why not take this time and go explore some of the places that I've seen in the Bond films. I think another thing actually to do in this time period is actually also enjoy other flavours of the spy genre. I don't know about you, but yes, James Bond is number one, always has been, always will be. But I do love the Mission Impossible franchise, so go re-explore that again. I love the Kingsman movies. I love the film Atomic Blonde. I love seeing some of the old spy films like The Third Man. I love seeing so many other spy films. So maybe take this moment to enjoy not only James Bond, but other spy series. Catch up on them, re-watch them as well. Talk about them, read some other spy books like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Watch the film and read the book. Actually, don't read the book. The book is terrible. Just watch the film. I think for me, the last one I'd recommend is something we're all doing right now, and I don't think none of us will ever stop, but keep an eye out for any Bond 26 update, and when you hear about it, talk about it. Communicate with other people your thoughts and feelings on it. That's part of the fun, hearing other people's opinions on it. Agrees with you, disagrees with you, that's fun. So keep updated and keep telling people, hey, have you heard this news? Have you heard this? Well, this person said that. Well, I have an inside source, blah, 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 blah. So enjoy that part of it as well. Well everyone, those are all my ideas for what to do in between Bond films and ways to keep us occupied and excited while we wait. What are your ideas? Do you agree with any ones I've said? Do you disagree with them? I want to know. Comment down below and tell me your thoughts and opinions on this. As always everyone, my name's Henry Stevens and I'm the Bond Geek. Goodbye.